This video is brought to you by Brand, a sick supernatural comic by writer Antonio Bryce and Image Comics artist Kanan White.
Does look
if you
really
love
good.
comics as much as I do and want to support these fantastic artists, please visit the Indiegogo link in the description below. It helps out this channel and it helps these amazing independent artists. And if you want more Birdman, follow me over on Twitter or Instagram at TheBirdman15.
Hit a little traffic.
45 seconds of logos.
Since it's apparent that it's not the length of the logos, only that logos exist in the first place, I'm going to ignore this sin and point out that in the description of this video, you claim that Bumblebee is the best Transformers movie. That would be the first Transformers movie, and if anyone watching this disagrees, fight me, you little bitch.
Also, in an opening scene that is pretty much all computer graphics, the staging of this action is even more egregious than usual. This is a controlled environment where concern for safety...
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about the Michael Bay movies or the 1986 one? Because I mean, the first one of Michael Bay is alright, but it's not great. But I'm just saying, I love the Bumblebee movie more than all the other movies. I'm sorry, it's just better than 1986. I still love it though. It's still a great movie, 1986. But this is better. Anyway, moving on.
out the window, along with covering up stunt doubles and bad takes, and they still cut this like assholes.
Poppycock. Poppycock? Really? What? I've always wanted to say it. Anyway, the action in this film is entirely in focus and very easy to see and follow. It's the only Transformers film that can say that. I mean, there are literally only 3 cuts in the scene you're talking about.
Decepticons.
Why wouldn't there be cuts?
Autobots, fall back!
I believe the look of confusion on Optimus Prime's mantle here is that, just like the audience, he too can't figure out the difference between the Decepticons and the Autobots in these movies.
Sorry,
What
but
the
you're not
fuck?
going to lump Optimus Prime in with you and the other dumbasses that don't pay attention to something they're watching. Decepticons all have red eyes, while the Autobots have blue eyes. This has literally been a thing since the 1980s cartoon.
I found a planet that's well hidden.
I fucking hate.
Why is Earth well hidden? And
Look, I don't know if he writes it or not, but he's just got such an annoying voice. And he just delivers it so meaningfully that it just sounds... Not meaningfully, he's a bitch.
why are you showing a giant hologram of it in front of the enemies who could see it?
Earth is well hidden because it's far enough away from Cybertron to be insignificant to the Decepticons. And why is he showing a hologram of Earth in front of the enemies who could see it? What enemies?
Like you assholes couldn't have blown this tower up a lot sooner. You've waited so long to do it that you allowed the plot to happen, and I cannot forgive that.
Like I just tried to explain, the Autobots ran away from the fighting to this tower. The Decepticons are only just now arriving here.
Did this dude in the very back of the formation need to use the halt signal? Who's he telling to halt here?
No one, because it isn't the halt signal, it's the freeze signal. When patrolling, Marines will all use the signal as a sign that they saw and understood the signal. The real sin here is these 2 guys who aren't doing the signal.
Also, in all the paintball training camps and all the giant forests in all the world, Bumblebee fell right into theirs. And isn't there a safer way for Autobots to enter a planet than crash landing into it?
This is what I fucking hate. He always is like, oh, of all the places, it's like, it has to fall somewhere, and it just happens to be here. That's what happens. It can't just land nowhere. If he's going to Earth, he lands on Earth. That's how it works. It doesn't work any other way. That's just how it works. Shut the fuck up, Jeremy.
Just like in the Aquaman video, you just combine some random observation with a completely unrelated question and think you're saying something wrong with the film. Frankly, if B crashed into another forest, you'd be saying the same thing. Damned if you do.
Man, why didn't you just do this before?
Because before, B was running through the trees. I mean, are you seriously suggesting he should have transformed into a Jeep while in the thick of the forest? Remind me to leave Jeremy behind when we go look for the Blair Witch. You're not going to look for the Blair Witch. Black people don't do that kind of shit.
Movie wants us to believe that Blitzwing takes the time to brand the missiles on the fighter jet he transforms into.
That's not what the movie is suggesting. The Autobot and Decepticon logos are automatically grafted to their weaponry when they transform, as their weapons are a part of their bodies.
Also, how does he even have missiles? Where are those stored when he's running around in Decepticon form?
As I mentioned earlier, their weapons are a part of their bodies. This comic explains that Transformer weapons and ammunition are a natural byproduct of their bodies that replenish in much the same way as human hair and fingernails. But asking where the missiles are stored? The film literally answers this, and you completely skipped it.
And are hereby sentenced to death.
During Charlie's introduction, we've had to endure 90 seconds of teen angst to the tune of Big Mouth Strikes Again, and now she's about to eat some Mr. T cereal. So I guess this is the hipster version of 80s nostalgia. Not quite as sugary as The Wedding Singer, but just as bad for your teeth.
Are you just pointing things out on the screen or sending hipsters? They're the same thing anyway.
Can you drop your brother at karate on your way to work, please?
I could if I had a car.
From the moment Charlie walked in, everything about this scene has felt wrong. While the family is probably still recovering from Charlie's dad's death, and it's still awkward, it appears that new family rules have started today for no reason. Then Charlie's mom inexplicably asks her to drop her brother at karate when Charlie has no car. It's like this family is meeting each other for the first time just this morning.
This sounds as if, just like Charlie, you're suggesting that in order to drop something off, you must have a car to do so. If that's the case, how did Peter Parker drop off pizzas in Spider-Man 2?
I get the whole putting a phallic-shaped food item in your mouth can be sexy, but a corn dog? I guess if I wasn't circumcised. What?
Jeremy says people who aren't circumcised have corn dog penises.
Charlie works at a place called Hot Dog on a Stick.
Let me stop you right there. At a place called Hot Dog on a Stick? Are there seriously people that don't know Hot Dog on a Stick?
Also, how exactly did Bumblebee transform into this Volkswagen Beetle? Everything about him was failing after Blitzwing fucked him up, and he was still able to transform.
There were only two failures after Blitzwing's attack: his vocal synthesis and memory core. Those two things have nothing to do with his ability to transform, something that is intrinsic to him being, a transformer.
I've got to see what happens to Alf this week.
Who the says this? Doesn't everybody who watches a show say, I want to watch insert title of show here tonight? And seriously, why does Alf seemingly always appear when a movie goes back to the 80s? Alf fucking suck.
Alf what? Hold me back, Future Birdman. Hold me back!
I don't know what that is, but I still hate him.
He really doesn't, but roll credits.
She's clearly referring to the buzzing noises that he makes.
You idiot. You dummy. You dumb ball. Dumb bag. Dumb schmuck. Dumby bumby bum pump. You bum.
Gas station clearly has an identity crisis. Here the sign says gas and guzzlin', but the sign above the station says guzzlin' and gas.
Jeremy, look at this sign. The shape of this sign means that only the word gas can fit on the red side. This simply means the sign has been reversed from this viewing angle.
If they were just going to do this, then why were they ever in car form?
Because once they copy a vehicle, they must transform into it at least once to acquire the properties of that vehicle in their robotic form.
How underwhelming.
Makes sense.
Alien race comes down to Earth, sees like 10,000 square feet of area.
Cliche,
and
I fucking
suck.
know, shut
Cliche.
up.
Compared to Cybertron, it f***ing does.
Did you put that robot junk away?
Christina Hodson conveniently recycles dialogue from her unproduced robot porn script.
Skip.
Two of them just made contact in
Where is
Texas.
that?
Intel
In
says
that
they're
case.
heading west fast.
We're going to Texas.
Why Texas? Didn't he just tell you that they were in Texas and they were heading west fast? Maybe you want to investigate whatever they did in Texas, but they aren't there anymore, are they?
Well, that depends. Texas is really f***ing big, and considering they were traveling as cars, if they landed in East Texas, let's say Marshall, it would take them over 11 hours to reach El Paso.
It was sometime at night when the Decepticons got here, right? And they immediately headed west fast, according to the military. Even figuring Texas's huge size,
Would that not
wouldn't they be
make
farther
it-
than this by now? None of this makes any sense.
As
Oh,
I just
right.
explained,
Okay,
it
never mind.
clearly does make sense. Texas is huge, and they are traveling as cars. I mean, it would be about 2 hours as a flight.
B-127 signal has gone silent.
If B signal's gone silent, what were you planning to do when you hit the West Coast, which encompasses California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Yukon, and Alaska? Why haven't you discussed this with your partner already?
Transformers are capable of living for millions of years, so
Yep.
the plan would be to simply wait for his signal to appear again once they got to their destination. Speaking of West Coast, Alaska is not a part of the West Coast. Hell, when Shatter pulled up a map showing the West Coast, the map clearly stopped at British Columbia. The only people that think that it is are Alaskans themselves, and we all know Alaskans are really Russianadians.
Ravage, eject.
What the f*** was this guy expecting his robot dog to do here? Optimus is about to get surrounded anyway, so what's the
the
goddamn
fuck
point
are
of
you
using your attack dog? In the end, these movies are exactly what the Transformers the movie was, a long advertisement for toys.
Optimus?
What the fuck? fuck did you just fucking say on me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated till the my class in the Decepticon Academy, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on my account. I have over 300 confirmed kills. I am trained in covert espionage, and I'm the communications officer in the Decepticon army. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this planet. Mark my fucking words.
Ravage
Shut
is a
the
mini cassette
fuck
based on a
up.
cat. He's not an attack dog. And I assume Soundwave wanted to soften Optimus up.
No, why would you play this?
Because how else is the audience supposed to remember you threw out your diving trophies, and that diving will be important in this movie later?
This is supremely ironic because you know damned well if the film attempted to tell you that Charlie was a diver, you'd attempt to sin for exposition. You always complain about films not showing you information crucial to the plot. Now when you get it, you still sin it.
Charlie clearly picks up tape from the bottom middle column of this box, and it's going to be Rick Astley. But earlier, there was no Rick Astley in this column when she was choosing tapes.
Jeremy, a YouTuber with over 8 million subscribers, doesn't know what Rick rolling is.
The song that plays is Never Gonna Give You Up, which is the ALF of 1980s music references.
Jeremy, a YouTuber with over 8 million subscribers, doesn't know what Rick...
used to listen to this while we work on the Corvette.
Father and daughter used to listen to Unchained Melody while working on a Corvette? I don't think so.
Why the hell not? Also, this fucking laugh.
If we tell them no, they'll just take their technology to the Russians instead.
Dr. Bumblebee, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Transformers.
Jeremy makes a Dr. Strangelove ref...
Also, I'm not sure which part of this is more insane. That Dr. Powell thinks the Decepticons can be trusted enough to use America's satellite systems, or that they would have any fucking knowledge.
Does anyone else, like, I'm sure they didn't, but does anyone else see Dr. Powell as being a reference to Joe Powell, the guy who did Broken Mirror and Ascension? I just like to think of it that way.
Of the U.S.'s issues with Russia.
You have to understand that the U.S. military was still in a Cold War with the Soviet Union in the late 80s. Literally any foreign technology was looked at as possibly part of the Russian war machine.
You really want to go down in history as a man who caused us the Cold War?
Because going down as the man that allowed the planet to be turned over to alien robots is so much better on a resume.
From their perspective, the Transformers are their best hope at shutting down the Soviet Union, which, again, was the U.S. military's most pressing concern in the late 80s. They were deceived by Decepticons. I mean, who'd have thunk, am I right?
No one can know what you just saw.
Actually, with the lack of boundaries her own family exhibits throughout this movie, I wonder how they haven't heard strange noises and investigated, or simply just walked in on her talking to her alien robot car. The movie is treating her mom's near miss like a one-time thing.
Here's the thing. Any noises they hear will most likely be dismissed as Charlie tinkering with her car, and any talking she does will be dismissed as her simply talking to her car, which is a thing. Or at least a thing I do. I
respect you. I don't care.
No one
I respect
know
you.
what you just saw. You promise?
Yeah.
Power of boners will allow many secrets to be
shut
kept and also give one the ability to not their pants when a car turns into a giant robot in front of them.
Jeremy says boner.
They're combining our technology seamlessly. Satellites, phones, computers. They're creating an
Jeremy is such a
of information.
While public use of the internet as we know it didn't happen until 1989 or so, surely Dr. Powell knows that the technology he's so excited about right now is already possible.
Apparently not in this film's universe, as it's literally being created by Decepticons right now. Unless you're suggesting that Decepticons exist in the real world, which is obviously poppycock. PB, are you a pretender? Well, that's a stupid fucking question, considering we are the same person. I mean, not exactly. I'm technically from a parallel universe, so...
multiverse theory.
He's a weird guy. You don't notice that about Paul?
Could we just stop trying to make John Cena, the comedian, a thing in this movie?
John Cena? The hell are you talking about? Where the heck do you see...
This car is an embarrassment. You should have your dad buy you a better one. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Movie didn't have enough conflict with Transformers battling each other and humans, so I'm glad it decided to add in some pointless Tina-Charlie jabbing for good measure.
I mean, if you're going to pull a Godzilla and focus on the one thing we absolutely want to see in a Transformers movie, the humans, then you might as well give them a bit of characterization, don't you think?
Homebound hijinks! Does this movie ever actually get to Bumblebee?
Says this shows a scene of Bumblebee being Bumblebee.
This is basically the E.T. gets drunk scene in E.T., except Charlie doesn't unleash a bunch of frogs on a science class and doesn't get to kiss Erica, a laniac.
So
And
it's
he's not drunk.
basically the E.T. gets drunk scene from E.T. Got it.
I'm just going to point out here that the Decepticons' plan to take all our technology to find Bumblebee would have turned up nothing if he didn't suddenly get the urge to snoop around Charlie's house and stick his finger in an electrical socket.
It's called the fucking plot, Jeremy. Shut the fuck up.
Not really. All it did was speed up the process. They definitely would have eventually found him, considering B's mission was to wait for and signal the other Autobots. The real sin here is that B stuck his probe into the ground and he got electrocuted. That's not how that works. I mean, I'm not saying to try it or anything, but try it.
There's this quote that I like. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars.
It's never got me laid before, but I'm thinking eventually it has to.
Or he could just be a nice dude who wants to say something nice to a girl he likes.
Yeah,
not everyone thinks with their corn dog penises.
Tell us where Optimus Prime is hiding.
They tried getting this information by torturing that cliff jumper guy earlier, but instead of working him over some more, they killed him. Then they traveled from Saturn to Earth and went through a whole bunch of just to ask Bumblebee the same questions he's way more unlikely to answer than the last dude was.
Wait, what was that?
Way more unlikely to answer than the last dude was.
One more time.
Than the last dude was.
The last dude?
Than the last, than the last, than the last, than the last, than the last.
McKinnon Air Base.
If Bumblebee's still alive, that's where they're keeping him.
The movie expects us to believe that Memo is a teenager who would just be hanging out in his room.
I mean, I have similar, like, speaking problems. Like, I sometimes can't pronounce things, but still, you have... I don't know how many subscribers he has. I don't fucking watch that shit. I just... Look, I only watch this because I fucking... Because of this. Technically, because of this, I hate CinamaSins, but, like, I'm glad that I hate CinamaSins. I don't watch this shit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Watching the fucking news.
This convenient newscast is breaking news, something that would interrupt the scheduled program. Even if it weren't, are you suggesting that there aren't young people that watch the news? Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
We will fight on. Regroup, rebuild.
Why does this recording even exist, other than to give the Decepticons and Charlie an easy way to learn what's going on? Optimus told B everything before he sent him off to Earth. Did Optimus have a what if B loses his memory after a fight with Blitzwing and John Cena backup plan in place?
The recording exists because B recorded what the leader of the Autobots was saying at the beginning. It's as simple as that.
I am coming. Prime is coming here.
They're all coming here.
And it's gonna get messy. Quick, call in the Bukake experts. Also, Dropkick, Prime won't be here until the sequel. Sure, in the
he knows his
80s,
name.
he would have been in this
Congratulations.
movie, but it's the 2010s, and we've got film universes, and these things have to be spaced out so we can bitch on Twitter about it.
Yep, that's not true. Optimus actually shows up on Earth at the end of this film. Dropkick just won't be around to see it.
Shatter and Dropkick didn't hear this.
Do you see the glow on her face as Dropkick drops Bumblebee? Jeremy continues to misunderstand things that are happening at the same time.
Yeah, wake up. Please.
This scene would be
Misunderstand things. See the glow on her face
Oh,
as Dropkick
right.
drops Bumblebee? Jeremy continues to misunderstand things that are happening at the same time.
Yeah, wake up. Please.
This scene would be 100% more effective if I wasn't aware that there were 5 god-awful Transformers movies that take place after this, and Bumblebee is all over it.
And none of that shit matters because this film is a reboot. You know how I know it's a reboot? Because in the previous continuity, Bumblebee had been on Earth since at least World War II. Pay attention.
I see Bumblebee went to the iRobot school of eye color changing when going from good to bad that I've heard so much about.
Wait, so you noticed the eye color change here, but completely missed eye color being the litmus test of who's an Autobot or a Decepticon?
B goes on this super rampage of blowing shit, but manages to not kill one person, thereby keeping his good guy status.
So, B is angry, sure, but he isn't evil, so he's definitely not trying to kill people here. Hurt them? Sure. But the part of this scene you cut out shows that B is still consciously doing these things.
If the Decepticons find Earth, then our people are truly finished.
Yes, but the Decepticons only realized that Earth was important because of this very message. They didn't know Earth was the new base until Dropkicked Bumblebee and the hologram.
That's not what a
of you
dropkick
popped up.
is.
3 Decepticons so far have found Earth, but it meant nothing. Sorry for the trivialities here, but what Optimus really meant was that the Decepticons learned that Earth was the new base, it would be bad.
Dude, you are literally just repeating what happened on screen and saying, this is a sin. We all know what Optimus meant when he said what he said, that Earth would be the new home of the Autobots, and if the Decepticons found out, they'd be in trouble. This is not breaking news.
Also, not to be outdone by the Fast and Furious films, next summer we'll get the Otis and Ron movie, where they get called in by the government.
Skip!
I'm sure someone's winning here. Let's see. The blue one kicked the yellow one, and then got slammed into the thing. So we'll carry the 1, minus the 5. Yep, definitely don't know or give a shit.
Again, this... film is to be lauded for actually keeping the action in frame and easy to see. This is the only Transformers film to do this. What the hell are you talking about?
Also, again, when they went to Earth, did they not tell any of their superiors that's where they were going? After the first one that came down to kill Bumblebee died, it's crazy they haven't sent more Decepticons down here after Shatter and Dropkick located B's signal.
It's likely that Shatter and Dropkick wanted all the glory to themselves. The Decepticons operate on a loose meritocracy.
All I have to shoot are bullets right now. I mean, sure, I have missiles, but what?
That gives me so many excuses for my series. Oh my god, thank you so much.
Father.
In her very next scene, they show her using the missiles.
Oh, there's my missiles. Sorry about the bullets earlier.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
I mean, you fired on us early and probably killed some of my men, but I guess we're cool now. High five.
So now you're contradicting yourself as the cherry on top of this shit Sunday of a Sins video. You specifically intimated that Bumblebee did not kill any of his men earlier.
Super rampage of blowing shit, but manages to not kill one person.
And now you're pretending that he did.
Shatter jumps down from the top of the tower and then transforms into a jet. Why not just stay in your robot form and slice Charlie up instead of impotently staring at her in jet form?
CinamaSins Transformers for transforming.
This entire finale reminds me of Iron Man 3. You could splice scenes from it into this one, and no one would notice.
Well, I noticed, especially considering the low quality footage that you used.
Hey, soldier!
What? What is happening on screen?
Everyone driving on the bridge sees this, right? Charlie could have tried a more secluded spot for this farewell.
Jeremy continues to believe that people just look up for no reason, when it's been scientifically proven that most people do not, especially not people driving in traffic on a bridge that is suspended over water.
But I guess everyone else will, because I have no fucking clue why the government is shocked when these things show up again in 2007.
This is a reboot, you moron. God damn. All the money CinamaSins has and you refuse to actually research the shit you put out for your millions of subs? To you people that come here to defend CinamaSins, this is how much he cares about y'all. Subscribe to Birdman.
Here's a song by a gay guy.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so